What's up? What's good? Amazing fam. It feels like it has been a minute since we were together here on our Something Extra. And my sincerest apologies. It's just been some really crazy days as we were working, as you know very well, before the events and how we put all our head wrapped around that and getting a lot done. But hey, that's one more down and another more to come through. And I hope, by the way, you guys are doing great. I hope this week has been productive and awesome for you. And if it hasn't, I hope what we're going to be sharing with you today will be able to guide you and help you to overcome whatever's been pestering or bothering you guys. I want to speak today, as you probably saw on our title, we're going to be talking about action. And the interesting thing is that this theme will have a lot to do with what we do in the YPG. Not necessarily just the action, but the step before that, which is we're teaching. I mean, you guys are connected, whether you're connected from your respective branches or you're just watching us from home, from work, wherever, maybe in the taxi, maybe in the bus, maybe heading somewhere, I don't know. And you saw YPG is live. Oh, Something Extra here today. And I hope, as we always do, and I'm sure you do too, to learn something, to receive something that's going to be positive for your life, for our lives in general, because as much as we teach, we also learn a lot from you guys. But what I want to speak today has to do with the fact that in spite us learning so much, in spite us receiving so much information, how often do we act upon what we learn? I want you to think about that. How often do we actually apply ourselves towards something which we're being taught or we were taught? When this live ends, are you going to apply immediately what you were going to be taught? When the past lives there was a lesson taught, did you apply yourself towards that? Did we apply? That's a question which only we can answer ourselves. Only we have the answer for it. Only you have the answer for yourself. Will you actually apply yourself towards whatever you're being taught? Or is it just going to be something where you gained the information, but at the end of the day, there was no end result? I'm going to give a very practical example. I'm sure you have. I'm pretty sure most of us have done this. Have you ever been in the situation where you are watching a motivational video? There are a lot of motivational videos, especially on YouTube. You can scroll the endless world of YouTube and find so many motivational videos. I remember I used to search for those and get those, do it now, and there's that voice that's echoing in the background, and then there are those footages of what you call this, of sports people, sports personalities, famous people, celebrities, actually working towards whatever they are talking, even if it's just cutaway shots, just trying to match with what the person is saying, whatever the coach, that life coach or whoever is saying. The interesting factor behind it is that usually we get very motivated by that kind of stuff. And sometimes we actually apply ourselves at that moment. We actually take that step and take that decision that, you know what, right about now, I'm going to apply myself towards what this life coach or this person is teaching. I'm actually going to give of myself, and I'm going to, I can't take this anymore. I can't be just, a mediocre human being. I really, really, really want to apply myself. I really want to be awesome. I really want to do it. I really want to make it. But then either you never really start, either you never, when I say you, please, I'm referring to myself in this one. I'm including myself in this equation. But either we never really even bother starting, or we do, but as time goes by, we never really dedicate ourselves much to what we're claiming that we want to achieve or we want to obtain in our lives. The fact is, without action, all the knowledge in the world is worthless. What happens in school, for example? What happens in university, for example? So you have the lecturer or you have the teacher who is there, and that person will be there teaching. Whether you're going to bunk your classes or not, the fact is the day will come in which you're going to have to write that exam. What is that exam? It is putting to practice what you've learned, even if it's not a practical exam per se, even if it's in theory, but it is making yourself and your lecturer, whoever the institution, your teacher, whatever, whoever it may be, understand how much you actually grasped from what you were taught. So learning is not the hard thing. It may be difficult under certain circumstances, but learning is not the difficult. What is really, really difficult is applying ourselves towards what we claim we actually want to know, is actually applying ourselves and actually acting upon that. So I'm going to be here the next couple of minutes sharing good and sound advice with you. I'm going to share different from how we do in the Bible Clock, where we usually have a couple of things, a couple of gimmicks. There's something extra straight to the point where we come here and we chat to you guys and share with you guys a little bit of some life lessons and some life guidelines. But it is up to each and every one of us whether we are going to apply ourselves towards that or not. It's up to each and every one of us whether we are going to give in to our will, what we want to do, our laziness, our, I don't know what you want to call it, our complacency, or our, whatever you want to name it, whatever you want to tag and label it. The fact is, it's always and always on us, whether we are going to do something about it or we're going to stay stagnant. We're going to remain in the same situation thinking, hey, maybe this isn't really for me. Maybe, or the famous always postponing. How often do we tell ourselves, I'm going to start on Monday? How often do we tell ourselves, not now? How often do we say to ourselves, I will start, just not now? I'm going to stop doing this. I have this bad habit. I have this bad behavior. I'm going to stop it. I just don't know when. And we keep procrastinating the importance of that change. We keep procrastinating the process, actually, of that change. And you need to ask yourself, when am I going to act? Because you can take in all the theory. You can watch all those YouTube videos. You can go through the entire YouTube gallery of videos and stock of videos. I don't think you'll be able to finish all of them, but make believe you do. And watch all those motivational videos. Watch our videos. Listen to our teachings, our guidelines. But if you don't take that and apply it, all of it is worthless. It's like graduating and never using that diploma. Think about it. Nobody graduates to not use the diploma. Everybody graduates because they want to obtain something, even if it's for something else. Even if they're graduating from this course in order to do something else, it doesn't matter. The fact is, every single human being has that objective, that end result, of which that is only and only, and I repeat, only possible when we act. Our fam, one of our fam from Wits, she was sharing in the Wits community something to do with, I didn't go through it the whole thing, but it was quite an interesting question. Would you rather take a wrong decision or waver between right and wrong? And that's actually a very interesting question, very intriguing. And if you want to answer, by the way, today, this isn't recorded. I am actually live here. So if you guys want to answer and share with us your answer, you're more than welcome. I'll try to read it. I can't be looking much here, but I'll be looking at you guys. Remember, it's not the Bible Clock where things are a little bit more chilled, more relaxed. So here we do things a little bit more different. But my focus is on what would you do between wavering between two thoughts, or having to take a bad decision. Which one would you? It's actually a very, very, very intriguing question, because wavering between the two, you're not taking any decision. Now, making a bad decision, you're making a bad decision. Quite an intriguing and skull cracking question. But moral of the story is there is nothing worse than for us to gain so much knowledge, but at the end of the day, we don't apply ourselves towards it. It is of no use for you to learn and learn and learn and learn and learn, but at the end of the day, you don't apply yourself towards that. It's like getting all the theory to becoming healthy, but you still eat unhealthy, you still don't exercise, you still don't take care of your health. So you've got all the theory, but when it comes to acting, you don't. And that is the part where many of us are missing. I was with our Spraight View fam, please excuse me. I was with our Spraight View fam on Sunday. Amazing fam. And when I got there, they were having a debate. I don't remember what exactly the theme, I don't know what the actual theme was all about. But I found so interesting how they were thinking, the way they were thinking, the way they were reasoning. It had something to do with social issues in South Africa. And I liked how they came with a variety of different solutions. But what's sad? Not specifically talking about our Spraight View fam, but using that as an analogy to how many young people they have that kind of mindset. They're very intelligent. They've got it all to be at the top of their game. They've got it all to be successful. They've got it all to be really at the top, reach the pinnacles of success. But what's the problem? Oftentimes it has to do with acting. My question, and I might be a bit confrontational this coming Saturday in the Vibe O'Clock. We spoke about this a while ago, but I think it's always worth revisiting this understanding. How many are, for example, struggling in their finances because they're never willing to take a step, because they find it might be a bit too embarrassing for them to get out of their comfort zone and do what they have to do for them to be able to be successful. It might be, a big issue. Imagine if their friends see them selling pens or selling muffins at the taxi rank, or selling something at the traffic light, getting their hustle on. How many are actually 100% stuck in their lives simply because they don't think, that's worth trying? So they're stuck. They have the theory, they understand, they even know what it is to actually go to succeed, go. If I start a business, if I do something, if I attempt something, I can get there. Hey, I can actually get somewhere. They have this amazing idea. But when it comes to acting, there's nothing. When it comes to applying themselves towards that amazing idea, it's the crickets. I don't know if I have the crickets here. I think I do. Oh no, I don't have the crickets here. Too bad. Either way, I think you got the point. When are you going to act? When are you going to stop taking in all the information? Whether it's at school, whether it's at work, whether it's in church, whether it's in your spiritual life, whether it's with your family, whether it's in your finances. When are you actually going to act? When are you actually going to get up and say, you know what? It's time for me to actually get out of my comfort zone, because you've realized that your comfort zone is not as comfortable as it appears to be. That depends on you. That doesn't depend on me, because it depends on me for my life, and it depends on you for your life. How often do we tell ourselves, I'm going to quit doing something which I know isn't profitable for my life. I know it's not profitable for my future. I know this isn't going to go the right way. I know it's a bad idea. I know. But how often is it that we find ourselves in that situation and we just can't say no to what we know is being damaging, has been damaging to our lives and to our future? This is what I want you and I to think about today. This is what I want us to reason. Why are we not allowing ourselves to act? And why are we permitting ourselves to be misled by the fact that we're not too sure of the end results? We're not too sure if this is going to go according to plan. Well, maybe it won't go according to plan. Maybe really it won't go according to what you've planned. But are you doing something about it? It kind of reminds me of a famous saying someone shared a while ago, that complaining gives you the sense of doing something, but actually you're doing nothing. Complaining gives someone the sense of like, hey, I'm doing something, but actually they know deep down inside they're doing jack. Absolutely nothing. And maybe that has been you. Maybe you have been the kind of person who talks a lot. Maybe you're the kind of person who even makes a lot of promises. And I'm not saying this that doubting that you're capable of fulfilling those promises, but you will fail to fulfill those promises if you don't start doing something now. Maybe you complain that there's so many things which are out of place. They have nothing to do with the path towards where you want to achieve, where you want to go. You've got this vision, you've got this direction. You've got this thing that I can actually make it, I can actually get there. But the problem is, when you look at the steps, you realize I'm a bit too far from reaching there. I'm actually very far from reaching this dream. I'm actually super far. I actually need to start from the bottom. You realize that the bottom, it's way further down than I had imagined. And you demotivate yourself from fighting for what you are supposed to fight. Simply because the most important is this: you don't want to act. What is stopping you? What is hindering you from acting? Is it laziness? Is it a fear? Because maybe you did act in the past and things went south? Is it because you're afraid of failing? Maybe you did before and now you're afraid of failing again. Or you never failed and you're just afraid of failing. Listen, without failure, you're never going to get anywhere. What I want to say to you, my fam, is that it's time for you to act. It's time for you to do what no one can do for you. It's time for you to chase after what no one, absolutely no one, is going to chase after for you. You need to do it, and no one's going to do it. No one. There are things which we can do. Let me just pause the track here, because I really want you guys to pay attention to what I have to say. Maybe you have everything to succeed, but because you're so afraid of acting, you're stuck. You just see that you're stuck. You're heading nowhere. You're getting nowhere. You're completely stuck. You've got everything, every reason to succeed, every reason to be at the top, every reason to be great. You have the talent. You've got how many young people, they have the talent? It's not the lack of talent that's impeding them from getting to where they have to get to. It's here. The fact that they've convinced themselves that they don't have to act. You have the talent, but if you don't express that talent is worthless. It's going to get you nowhere. So what I want to say to you right now is act. What is stopping you from getting where you should get? What is impeding you from being where you should be? I don't know what it is. I don't know what's hurting you. I don't know what's stopping you. Is it the past? It's something we've said several times before, and I don't think I'll ever repeat this enough. Stop looking at the past. You failed yesterday. You might fail again today. And you might fail again tomorrow. And you might fail again the next day, but you're never going to get it right if you don't act. Listen to what I said. You're never going to get it right from your failures until the moment you actually do something about it. Act. You might fail again, as I said, or you might not fail. You're never going to know if you don't do something about it. Some are very afraid of taking risks. Some are very afraid of, as I said, doing something about it. I got to do something. They see somebody else failing and they say, what if I fail too? What if I don't make it? What if? Stop the what ifs and go and act. Stop the what ifs. Stop worrying about what people are going to say. So you've got the opportunity to go out there and fight for your life and fight for your future. But hey, what are people going to think? What are people going to say? What if my schoolmates see me selling this, selling that at the traffic lights, or doing this or doing that? You want to change your life. You want to start going to church. You want to be serious in your life. You want to actually, get yourself straight. What are my friends going to say? What are people going to think? What are people going to say? Their opinions are acting on your behalf. Their opinions are acting for you. Have you actually thought of that? That people's opinions have the power to impede us from actually acting in our lives. So I want you to think about it. I want you to reason. I want you to put this baby here to work. You've got it. I've got it. We've got it. But if we don't use it, naturally we're not going to act. The lack of action is the lack of decisiveness right here. Because when somebody's decided, you cannot stop. In case you don't know, you cannot stop a human being who is decided. A decided human being is by far one of the most dangerous weapons anyone can find. Because that decisiveness will lead them to get to, surpass the barriers, reach way past the limits, the limitations of your average human being. So it's time for action, my fam. It's time for you to strive for what you're meant to reach. It's time for you to stop what's time for you to stop. That's an action too. Maybe your action is not necessarily doing something, but it's stopping something. It's maybe stopping. It's taking a decision to stop something which has been controlling your life. Maybe that's what's missing. It's to stop. It's to put yourself in that situation. I'm stopping. That is a decision. That is something that no one, and I mean no one, can do for you. No one can do for me. Only I can take the decision to say, it's done. I'm done with this. It starts here. And if it's not decided here, that action will never, ever, ever take place in your life, in my life, in our lives. Our slogan is, it's time to take off. Taking off is not going to happen on its own. Somebody's got to operate that rocket. Somebody's got to operate that plane. Somebody's got to do something. And I'm sorry to say, no one's going to do it for you. There are things which we can do for you. The YPG fam, we care for you. We're going to be here for you. We're fighting for you. I always see how many messages we get in our inbox. My goodness, so many messages. And if that doubles, if that triplicates, it doesn't matter. We'll be here for you guys. We'll be here to answer, myself and the amazing team of mentors who are connected and who have access to answer, to reply, and seek for help and find help for you. But there comes a point where we can't do more. We share the advice. Maybe the kind of person who, you might be the kind of person who, you read a lot of self-help books. You read a lot of books, and that's awesome. Nothing wrong with you reading books. I mean, books are much better than social media. But what good is it for you to know all of that, but at the end of the day, you don't act? What good is it for us to have all the knowledge in the world? It's kind of like a religious person. It's kind of like a religious person. A religious person is someone who knows a lot about, for example, the Bible, but they don't practice it. And if you don't apply yourself, if you don't act, all that knowledge is more than what we call a waste of our time. My fam, no matter how young or how old we may be, time is something no one can afford to waste. The richest of the richest, they can't afford to buy time, because it's the most valuable thing which money can't buy. Time, to a certain extent, can buy money, but money can't buy time. It's time for you to act. You want to do well at school, it's time for you to act. It's time for you to study. It's time for you to stay focused. It's time for you to stop hanging around with the wrong crowd. You want to do what's right. You want to stop taking bad decisions. You want to stop doing certain things. Well, it's time for you to say no to that bad crew of friends who you've been chilling with. That crew of friends who, it's not an inner circle, it's a prison. It's a prison cell that you find yourself in. It's not going to change. And they're probably not going to leave you either. You're going to have to take that action. You're going to take that decision. You're in a toxic relationship with someone who's destroying you, someone who puts you down, someone who adds nothing, absolutely nothing positive to your life. You're in this toxic relationship. It's killing you. Maybe even abusive. Excuse me for going even that deep. But maybe you are in an abusive relationship. That situation is not going to change until you act. What decision do you have to take? I don't know. Look for help. Look for help. But after you receive that help, which is going to be an advice, the advice will require you to act. Doesn't matter. Whatever you come to me and say, PJ, I need help with this, I need help with that. Or you can go to your coordinator, your mentor, and say, I need help with this and that. We'll be there to help you. But there will come a moment in which we won't be able to do more than that, because there comes a moment where a decision needs to be taken, and that decision is yours. It's time to act. The year is going by so quickly, so fast. We are 5 days away, if I'm not mistaken. 5 or 6 days, I'm not too sure how long June goes. But I think 5 or 6 days away from reaching July, which means we're past the 50% mark of the year. What can you say you've achieved? What can you say you've obtained? What can you say that this year was different from the previous? This is what I wanted to share with you, and this is something that I need to do, that you need to do, that we need to do in order for us to turn the tables, in order for us to reach where we want to reach. You might not reach where you want to reach this year, and then things aren't going to happen always the way you want. And when you say act, and then you say, PJ, but last time I acted, I failed. Like I said, maybe you're still looking at the past. Or the famous, what are people going to say? Or the famous, what if I fail? Or the famous, I failed before, what if I fail again? Get over that. If you haven't heard the story of Thomas Edison is a man who brought a positive influence to all of our lives. He created the light bulb. I'm looking up at the lights on here. But either way, all these lamps and lights, I'm using different kinds, but they've got some sort of a lamp. Today we use a lot of LEDs, but it's a kind of lamp which is being used. The bulb was created by that man. The idea of, when we have the symbol of idea, it's usually a bulb. It was an idea. Somebody had an idea. He failed. I don't know how many times. You can look it up. I don't know how many times Thomas Edison failed. Today, we don't live without his invention, in spite of load shedding here and there. But we all get annoyed when we can't use that light bulb because it's useless because of load shedding. But the first thing we do when there is no more load shedding is hit the lights and have the lights back on in the house or wherever you are. One idea from someone who failed 1,000 times. He failed 100 times. And there are countless numbers of people who failed so many times. But that failure did not stop them from doing that beautiful thing called acting. Go and act. Go and do what you gotta do. Alrighty? That's it from our side. When I say it's time to take off, I mean to say it's time for us to act and do what we gotta do. Take this, share this with others. Share this with someone who's been always asking you what to do to change their lives. It doesn't matter what your beliefs are. It doesn't matter whether you're a Christian or non-Christian, whether you're religious or non-religious, whether you believe in God or not. Whatever it is that you want to achieve in your life, without action, you're never going to be able to achieve it. So my YPG fam, take this and share this link left, right, and center with someone who really needs to hear this in order for them to change their lives. YPG fam, I'll meet you guys again on Saturday. Unfortunately, Saturday I couldn't be with you guys, but you were in more than capable hands of Vinny and Shaka, who were here with you. But I'll be back with you guys this coming Saturday. If nothing changes, then I will be here with you guys this coming Saturday at 7 p.m. and we're going to be talking more. Also on Sunday, I'm going to be joining our Hillbro fam. We're going to be having a special hangout with our Hillbro fam. And if you want to join us, well, that's where we're going to be. All right? Take care of yourselves, and don't forget what time it is. It is time for us to take off, or should I say, it is time for us to act.